Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you something incredibly awesome. You may not be aware of this, but there are actually a few cores in which you could play your own video games on if you have the patience, perseverance, know-how, and tools, and of course a PC to create the games on to begin with. Of course, there are many pre-created games that you can test out, like with the Minicore. You have a whole subset of games that you can run that are from the official games, but then of course you could use the creation tools and create your own games. And somebody did one called P-Type, which is very much like a little bit of a skeleton of an idea similar to R-Type. And the more time you put into a game, the more effort, the more you get out of it. And in my own time creating games, I would roughly get about 1 minute of gameplay for every hour that I put into it. But yes, you have the ship shoot, and you can do the charge and everything. Kind of cool. But let's say we put a little bit more time into it and add a little bit more AI and such. Again, I used to make RPGs many years ago, and I've played with the NetEuros for PlayStation 1, and it really does take a lot of patience and time to do stuff like this. And what's really awesome is when you play games like Trials and Little Big Planet, the creation tools are so intuitive that it takes far less time to really get a good working level in game design. They're incredibly awesome compared to the more complicated NetEuros that I originally used. And you were able to make games such as Devil Dice with the NetEuros. Really cool stuff. But we're going to move on to PokeSonic, which is a little bit more time was invested in this one than the R-Type one. And you can definitely see a noticeable difference the more time you put into them. And we're going to be testing out 3 specific cores today, which all have the capability of creating your own games on a PC and then running them in the context of the core set. Here we have Sonic able to run to the right and left. Pretty cool. Now we're going to take this up ante a little bit and try out the next level. How about you add a little bit of AI and have enemies in the game? Again, when I used to play RPG Maker back in the day, I would spend a good 10 hours and get maybe an hour of gameplay. Yes, it takes a lot of time. You can see why it took 3 good years to make Mario 64, but yes, RPGs can take an exponential amount of time to make. Here we're going to play Sonic Arena V1. It has more of an AI feel to it, more complicated than the previous 2 that I just showcased. But very cool stuff, definitely fun to check out. And I'm going to be showcasing a brand new core in this video as well. Here I'm supposed to avoid Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball while I hit the crabs or lobsters, whatever they are, and see how high of a score I can get. Let's see how high of a score I get here. Then we'll move on to our next test subject. 12. Okay. Now, it'd be really incredibly awesome if you took a well-known license and tried making a mini RPG off of it, and somebody started the foundation of it, and it is incredibly cool to see. And I'd love to see somebody take more time and make this a more full-fledged and very playable game, but we're going to check it out and see what this gal did to start with. We're going to do a little bit of a mini Zelda here. And I've done a previous demonstration of the two cores in this. Look, it even has mini music. Cool. Very cool. So you have a little bit of a town that you can walk around in while you hear chiptune style Zelda music, more like LCD style Zelda music. But definitely cool, nice gimmick here. Now if we go to an officially created Pokemon game, which I've showcased in a previous video, you can see that more time went into it, and as a result it is a very highly playable game, more along the lines of a pseudo Sonic Rush. But we have 2 more cores to showcase after this test example here. We're going to do Pokemon Mini Race, and I'm playing the translated version. This one is incredibly fun if you like racing games, and this is based off of a real game. It is not built from the ground up, it is a legitimate game. And I remember when we had the little mini LCD VMU for Dreamcast, and they had mini games on there like with Godzilla, Legends and such, and they were incredibly cool to play. And of course with the Sonic KO Garden and such. But yes, it's actually really cool. And those of you who grew up in the 80s might remember the Etch-a-Sketch animator, which this very much reminds me of. But you can see how much, a little bit more time it takes to get into a game like this. It takes more effort, but really, really cool. We're going to move on to some more test examples here. But yes, that's the Minicore. I showed you some pre-created games, as well as games that were made by end users. We're going to move on to another cool core that is really cool for this concept as well. The Lutro core, which I've also done a test demonstration of in the past. And again, the more time you put into the game, the better. Let's see what we have for Lutro here. There's quite a few of them here. We'll try out Platformer. And again, these are all end-user created games using tools on their PC, and then they're able to be played on the cores, on Mini or on PC. Really cool stuff here. But yes, it has all the makings of a game, something you'd expect to see on the Xbox 360. Xbox 360 is one of those independently developed games. Not too bad. Good premise here. Let's check out the other two real quick that I have in my queue line here. Again, the more time you put into a game, the better it turns out. It can really take a lot of time. And even on trials, on my Xbox One and such, I was downloading Star Wars created levels before they got removed due to the copyright infringement, obviously. You can't just create Star Wars levels and post them. They'll be removed pretty quickly, but if you download them, you have them on your system to check out. And I had one with the land speeder that was incredibly awesome to play. Here we're going to try one called In Your Face City Trains. And if you play mobile phone games, you're going to be very, very familiar with the Auto Runner games. And some of the best ones are obviously the Sonic, Mario, and of course my favorite, the Rayman ones. I absolutely love the Rayman ones. And they're very much similar in experience to the ones that I played on my Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, and PS4. Very, very fun stuff. I love pretty much every single Rayman game that you can imagine. But yes, Auto Runner, see how far I could get from point A to B and get a high score and such. And some of the mobile phone games I played that are auto runners actually give you upgrades and such, which could give you more durable amounts of time that you can get throughout the course of the game. Here, 374, not too bad. And somebody actually went out of the way to make a more of a Metroidvania style game. But yes, if you have the creation tools and know a little bit about Lua script, you can actually create some of your own games. And I'm going to show you a really, really cool creation that Rob Loach made at the tail end of this video. But we're going to try out this other one called Spaceship, which is, for all intents and purposes, to me, a great, great Metroidvania style game in essence. And I would have loved to see this game become more fuller-fledged. And in the course set update, in the extras folder, I'll include some of these test games for you to try out. But it looks like I'm playing Princess Leia in the context of a Metroidvania style game, though. But very, very interesting here. Reminds me of something I would have played on Newsgrounds a good 15 years ago, but still fun nonetheless. Definitely put a good amount of time into this game. Very, very cool stuff here. And I love my Metroidvania games. Can't go wrong there. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the new core, the ChaiLove core. And Rob Loach did an incredible job, and madmonkey helped get things going. It had a little bit of a dependency and library issue, but we got it going, and everything's golden now. But you're going to see ChaiLove in action. And we're going to try it out with a great Flappy Bird game. Right here. And one thing I'd like to point out is some of the games have crashed. So what I found is for a game like Flappy Bird, I would go into the RetroArch options, and it would actually decrease the amount of times the game would crash. But yes, Flappy Bird by Rob Loach. Floppy, Flappy. Definitely captures the essence of the original mobile phone game. But yes, I might end up with a free, so what I do is go into RetroArch options and simply resume. And you know how sometimes you can have a demo mode on your Mini, and have a game just load. Imagine doing this and having this game load at full volume while somebody's just randomly sitting in the living room. It'd freak them the freaking A out. I'm going to go into the dummy folder and load another ChaiLove game. How about Neon Cat? And imagine this just randomly loading at full volume. Let me go into the RetroArch from the main user interface because I accidentally pushed the home button here. I'm going to load RetroArch from the main user interface real quick. It's always good to have this. Again, go into Extras, Hashi, and add Clover SNES as a game. Then you'll have this RetroArch icon. And it's great for loading literally every core except for the PPSSPP core, which you always have to load from the main user interface initially. But I'm going to load core. I'll do ChaiLove. It's loaded. Then I'm going to load content. But if you have this Neon Cat on your main user interface and it goes into demo mode at full volume when somebody's just minding their own business in the living room, it's going to make them jump right off the couch. Just watch. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video and you'll be able to check out ChaiLove today. And thank you, Rob Loach. Thank you, madmonkey.